is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Well, you can't ask for a much better day than this. It is a perfect day for baseball, perfect day for Tigers baseball. Game 2 in this series featuring the Tigers and the Miami Marlins. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers baseball. Mario and Pebble alongside Jack Morris. Glad to have you with us here for Game 2 in this series. Big win last night for the Tigers, Jack. A bounce-back win. They fell behind early, but a big fifth inning was the difference.
Yeah, they really did a good job in the fifth inning of finally getting to Adam Conley, who was tough through 4, but Conley started misfiring a little bit, made some mistakes out over the plate. Jose Iglesias greets him for a 2-run home run that put the Tigers within a run. And then after a couple guys on base, Miguel Cabrera hits the big blast, a 3-run homer, which puts Detroit out in front. Then Nick Whitgren comes in. Nick Castellano greets him for a 2-run homer. So 7-run inning, and that's all the Tigers would need to win the game.
All right, now as far as today's ball game goes, on the mound for the Tigers this afternoon will be Daniel Norris. First start against the Seattle Mariners was pretty good, gave up some home runs, but a really tough right-handed lineup he'll face today.
Yeah, he's going to have his hands full. He's going to have to make good pitches. And it's hard when you're just making your second start of the year. You're still trying to feel your way through, but he's got to trust Saltalamacchia behind the plate today, hit his glove and make good pitches, try to change eye levels and change speeds. All the same things all pitchers.
All right, the final game of this short 2-game series, final game of the homestand as well for the Tigers. After a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Check in with Justin White. Last night, Nick was big. He had a 3-hit game. Over 300 now for the season. Castellanos and the Tigers take on the Marlins next. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. And by Jeep. Come discover great deals during the Jeep Drive and Discover event. What an absolutely spectacular day here in the Motor City today. Here are the field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. How about 73 degrees this afternoon and sunny, clear skies, about as perfect as you can get for Tigers baseball here this afternoon. The Marlins are in town here to wrap up this mini 2-game series. Ichiro Suzuki will be starting things off for the Marlins. Their lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Ichiro, Prado, and Yelich in the top 3 spots. Marcell Ozuna interleague play this year awfully good. Giancarlo Stanton is in right field. Chris Johnson opens up at first base in a bottom 3 of Dietrich, Echeverria, and Jeff Mathis for Don Mattingly. Meanwhile, they are facing the left-handed slants of Daniel Norris, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And you see the numbers there for Daniel Norris this year, only making his 2nd start, first start ever against the Marlins. And, you know, it'll be a work in progress as he tries to build his arm strength and get back into this rotation. Let's take a look at the Detroit Tigers starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. Left field, Justin Upton. Center field, Cameron Maben. Right field, Stephen Moya is out there today. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, and Cabrera around the infield again. And Jared Saltalamacchia doing the catching for Daniel Norris.
So on a bright, sunshiny day, we have the Tigers and Marlins wrapping up this homestand for the Tigers. And here is Ichiro to lead things off for Miami. It'll be Ichiro, Prado, and Yelich, the top 3 in the lineup for Don Mattingly and the Miami Marlins. Ichiro hitting .340 this year. First one on the way is a strike called on the outer edge. Ichiro in the ball game last night, 2 out of 4. He drew a walk as well. That ball is hammered and back into the seats, foul. 0-2.
Norris quickly throwing strikes, working at a quick pace. But Ichiro, what a year, 42 years old, putting the ball in play and looking as young as ever.
Now the 0-2 pitch, it's up and in, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Some guys just have that ability, Jack, to stay healthy and answer the bell day in and day out. There was a 10-year stretch when Ichiro came over to the States where he was as good as anybody in the game.
No question about it. He's always been that guy that's capable of 200 hits. Oldest players. Who's that Cologne guy? How old is he?
Bartolo Colon. Down he goes swinging, and Ichiro is out of there. Cologne listed at 43 years of age. We'll go with that.
Okay, we'll go.
Here's Martin Prado. Good start for Norris. His 2nd start in a Tigers uni this year. A bunch of 300 hitters in the lineup for this Marlins team that comes in smack dab in the middle of the race in the National League East, trailing Washington by 4.5. Prado looks at a ball high, 1-0.
Well, we mentioned it in the open that the right-handed hitters in this lineup have got some pop. Prado is just a pro's pro. Got Ozuna having a great year. Stanton hit a home run again yesterday. All those guys capable of leaving the ballpark.
Fouled back out of play, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Martin Prado. Prado to me has always been one of those guys that never really gets the due that he deserves. I mean, his numbers have never really been spectacular, but they've been even across the board every year that he's played in the major leagues. That'll bounce in, 2-2.
He's always played for teams that are kind of quietly hidden away from baseball. You know, the spotlight isn't in Miami, Arizona, the teams where he's really put up some good numbers.
Yeah, and even Atlanta, of course, he played there after the big run by the Braves. It'll bounce in, and the count now goes 3-2 on Prado. But he is a career .292 hitter. And I know has the respect of everybody on this Marlins team. Just underway, 1 out, nobody on. Great day for ball here in the Motor City. There's a drive in the air to shallow center field, and it's going to drop right behind Ian Kinsler, who is racing out for it. Prado, a 1 out single.
Well, we're going to take a look at that last pitch. The ball was up in the zone and really away. And now most hitters aren't even going to take a swing at that because it's eyeball high, and you can see that it's out of the zone. But off the end of the bat, the ball didn't carry much, but hit it in a great spot. He's on for a single here after 1 out.
Here is Christian Yelich, off to a .313 start this year. Yelich batted .300 last season for the first time in his career, and he bounces one foul. They drafted Yelich out of high school in California, Westlake, California, and he was a #1 pick, their first rounder back in 2010.
They had a single, double, and an RBI in yesterday's game.
It'll bounce outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Yelich.
Thousand Oaks, California. I know a guy that was from there. Last name Anderson. He's got a number up there on that brick wall.
George Sparky?
George Sparky.
1 ball, 1 strike. Just a little bit low. 2-1 the count.
He's throwing them back-to-back breaking balls. This is a slider that just runs a little bit off the plate. Of course, Foxtrack and I would argue with the umpire. I mean, you got to argue when it's right there. There's a seam on that corner.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Lifted toward left. That'll drop in, base hit. So a single for Yelich, and that'll put 2 on now with 1 out. It's kind of what we saw last night. I mean, this is a Marlins team that had 16 hits last night. Their major problem was 12 men left on.
Yeah, that last pitch, Norris left it a little bit more of the plate, trying to get the strike call from home plate umpire Adrian Johnson. But Yelich, after seeing that first good slider, was able to put the barrel of the bat on the ball. So quickly, 2 hits.
And now you've got a couple of their better hitters. Marcell Ozuna, the cleanup man, digs in. A couple of hits last night, scored a run. Ball 1, darts low.
Tigers are playing Ozuna pretty much straight up, both infield and outfield. Kinsler shaded there towards the bag.
There's a strike on the outer edge. Adrian Johnson goes up with the right hand. Norris, in his 6 starts at Toledo, posted an ERA of .255, his final 6 starts before being called up. The 1-1. Tigers trying, Jack, to find some depth in the rotation behind Zimmerman, Verlander, and Fulmer, and Norris being given an opportunity.
Well, it would be really ideal for Brad to have a left-hander in the rotation also. And Norris he's got a lot of upside. And he's a kid that was thought highly in the Blue Jay organization. Came over here, and I'm sure the Tigers would love to see him start getting on a roll.
Salty goes down to get that one. 3 balls and 1 strike now on the dangerous Marcell Ozuna, with Giancarlo Stanton waiting on deck. Early threat here for the Marlins. Tigers yesterday again announcing that Anibal Sanchez will go back to the bullpen. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss. He left the strike zone. 3-2 on Ozuna.
He threw that ball by him. Let her high.
Runners hold on 3-2. Got him looking, and Ozuna is out of there on strikes.
Look at the bell tire pitch by pitch right here. Starts him off with the breaking ball down and in, then he throws a fastball away for a strike, another breaking ball down and in, follows it up again. Ozuna goes out of the zone with a fastball and just locks him up. He's thinking breaking ball that last pitch, and Norris throws a fastball on the outer half of the plate.
So here is Stanton now with 2 outs. He drilled a line drive home run over the center field wall in the 2nd inning last night. Marlins jumped out to a 2-0 lead. And Stanton, after a slow start, starting to heat up a little bit now for the Marlins. Checked it. Did he go? Yes, he went around. Ramon de Jesus made the call.
Interesting with Giancarlo Stanton, he wears that chin guard against right-handed pitchers. Still a little shy of that and doesn't worries more about them. He sees the ball better off left-handers, so he doesn't wear that chin guard.
1-2.
We're talking about his helmet.
Of course, Stanton was hit in the face a couple of years ago and suffered a bad injury. And he wears that protected guard apparently against righties, not lefties. Tardy there on the fastball.
Last night off Mike Pelfrey in the 2nd inning, high fastball, and there was no doubt about this one. This was a line drive out in the bushes and straightaway center field. He's done that a few times in his great career so far.
Here's the 1-2, and he got him, strike 3. Ooh, Norris with a nice comeback, catching Ozuna and Stanton looking. Daniel strikes out the side. First, but failed to score. Here come the Tigers now in the bottom of the 1st inning. Their starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Kinsler, Maven, Cabrera, your top 3. Vmart is DHing today, then Castellanos and Upton. Bottom 3 of Moya, Saltalamacchia, and Iglesias. And they are facing the right-handed offerings of Tom Kohler.
Yeah, Tom Kohler making his 16th start. He's made 2 starts against the Tigers, the last one coming on September of 2013, and he's pitched 6 innings in 5 consecutive starts, so maybe they can get out of there before the 6th and get to their bullpen.
Well, here is Kinsler to get things started. He in at 293, was 1 out of 4 in the ball game last night. It'll bounce in, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kinsler now leads the Tigers with 91 hits this year. Just off the plate, 2-1 the count on Ian. Maben to follow, and then Cabrera. Kohler is 30 years old. He hails from the Bronx in New York. There's a strike on the inside part of the plate.
Kohler's got a variety of pitchers. He throws two different fastballs, a four-seamer and a sinker. He's got a curveball and a slider and a changeup, so good assortment.
Toward right center field. And ball's going to get down, a base hit. Kinsler wide, aggressive turn, but he holds up. Leadoff man aboard for the Tigers.
Well, when you don't need your glove, why use it? Stanton going after that right there, and bare hands it. And it's a good thing he's got big paws, because that's not the way you want to get it done. You got to use that fielding glove.
Can imagine Don Mattingly would not have been too happy had that ball gotten by him, especially in that area out right center.
You know, and you bring up a good question. Do you address the player or not address him because the play was made, or just bring it up anyway? Just remind him.
Here's a strike on Maben. I don't know, what would you do?
Well, as a manager, I'd have one of my coaches go talk to him.
Yeah. He just kind of passed the buck.
You know, you don't have to be negative either. Just say, hey, you know, you got to use your glove on that.
Yeah. 0-1 the count on Maben, and a toss back to the bag. But how about the outfielders that will catch the ball off to their side, which is kind of unconventional as well, because it's a little bit more fancy.
Well, a lot of guys are kind of migrating to that one-handed catch, and that's fine for the third out as long as you can't miss it, you know. But you want to teach all young kids to always have their hand next to their glove, so that if for whatever reason they clank it or it hits off the heel of their glove, there's another hand there to make a chance of getting it off the rebound.
Maben in the ball game last night was 1 for 3. He sits safely now in his last 4. The 1-1. Cameron just continues to be red hot at home. 439 in this ballpark. Day, night, sunny, rainy, cloudy, doesn't matter what the conditions are. He just hits here. Low and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kinsler out at first base doing his best to distract Kohler.
He's been dancing a little bit back and forth there. And he's got to be careful that he doesn't make that move toward the bag while Kohler is countering it with the move to first base.
Knocked down at home plate by the catcher Mathis, now 3-2. Cabrera waiting on deck. Marlins had a scoring chance in the first, but stranded 2.
I guess if you're a player, a hitter, and you have a better record at hitting at one place or the other, home or away, I think most of them would prefer it at home.
Runner goes, and a bouncing ball through the hole right side of the infield. Kinsler on his way to third. He'll stop there. Executed nicely. It wasn't hit all that hard, but it's a base hit.
Take a look at this here. You watch second baseman Derek Dietrich. He's going towards second base because Kinsler's off with the pitch, and that creates a bigger hole for Cameron Maben. Runners at first and third, nobody out.
And now you've got Miguel Cabrera stepping in. Miggy in the ball game last night struck out in his first 2 at bats against Conley, and then got him for a home run in the 5th inning.
Yeah, he had a couple runners on in his second at bat and failed to get the runners in, and then the third time up, big home run.
That ball drilled down the right field line, slicing foul.
last night, the home run that he hit in the 5th inning, the big run-scoring inning for Detroit. Conley threw him a changeup. It's one of the only changeups that Conley threw. And again, I just question why pitchers try to trick the game's best hitters when he was throwing the fastball by him, and he tried to fool him with the changeup.
Ooh, he's hit by a pitch, and that's going to load the bases. Cabrera is drilled. He will take first base. That'll bring up Victor Martinez.
Let's take a look at the Marlins starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Christian Yelich out in left field, Marcell Ozuna in center, and Giancarlo Stanton out in right. Prado, Echeverria, Dietrich, and Chris Johnson playing first base. Jeff Mathis doing the catching today, and Tom Kohler doing the pitching.
So here is Martinez, who was 2 out of 4 last night, batting with the bases loaded, nobody out. And a grand opportunity early in this one for the Tigers. It'll dive low, and Mathis had to locate it. 1 ball and no strikes. Kinsler got it started with a single, Maben with a base hit, and then Cabrera was hit by a pitch. Ooh, look at these.
That's some impressive stuff, and Victor's been a great hitter for a long time, but look at the numbers this year in interleague play.
Only Carlos Gonzalez a better average in interleague play. That floats high, 2 balls and no strikes.
Explain that one to me, would you? How does that happen? I mean, a great hitter is hitting 320 during the course of summer, and then you play a few games against the interleague and you're hitting 550.
Well,
I guess they're seeing the ball pretty well.
They're seeing the ball really well. 2-0. Pulled on the ground to first, and it's going to get by Johnson into short right field. 2 runs will score. Kinsler and Maben are in, and Miggy goes to third. 2-0 Tigers.
Look at Miguel Cabrera right here. He kind of gets in the way of the first baseman, Chris Johnson, and maybe blocks him out just a little bit. Ball gets by Johnson, kind of the seeing eye base hit. Maben with the good speed scores from second base. And Miggy, seeing that Stanton doesn't get to the ball real quickly, he rounds second, gets over to third.
Good start for the Tigers today. 2 runs on 3 hits already. That'll go as a 2-run single. And here's Castellanos. Ball 1 to Castellanos.
Look at this guy pour on the gas.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Keep going.
I love that first hesitation for Cabrera before that ball got through to screen the first baseman a little bit. 1 ball and 1 strike on Nick.
You know, old baseball scouts and stuff would call that baseball instincts. That's something you learn as a kid. You're trying to deke the first baseman or get in his way. You know, Miguel has a lot of fun in this game. Everybody knows that. All Tiger fans realize he's smiling, goofing around a lot. But those are things you learn as a young kid, and you don't forget them.
Well, the 2 parts of Cabrera's game that I think are underappreciated are A, his throwing arm with the accuracy that he throws from first base, but also his base running instincts and ability. Everybody wants to talk about his, his offensive prowess and his ability to drive the ball out of the ballpark, but this guy's a complete player.
Well, you think of most great base runners are guys that can flat out fly. They can run. Miguel doesn't have great speed, but that doesn't mean he's not a good base runner. And like you just said, Mario, a smart base runner. He knows when to take the extra base, and that's important because now he's 90 feet away. With nobody out, a fly ball to the outfield could score him.
2-2 on Castellanos, who had a huge night last night. Single, triple homer. Just off the plate outside. Kohler wanted and needed that one badly. Didn't get it. Waiting on deck, Justin Upton. Three-2 is hooked foul to left field. So Castellanos is back up over 300. Really have not been too many dates this year where he's been below 300. Maybe 12, 13 days or so the entire season. But he remains consistently a very solid player for the Tigers. Wally Joyner looking over some numbers. Matt Martin. Down the first base line, back toward the seats, and out of play.
Not a cloud in the sky here today in downtown Detroit, and they would call this a high sky. I don't quite understand. The sky's high all the time, isn't it? But it's bright.
Hard to argue with that statement.
Use your sunglasses when the ball goes up in the air.
I think outfielders and hitters would both say they'd like a little bit of overcastness, some cloud cover.
Yeah, these are tough days to pick up the ball off the bat if you're an outfielder or even the infielders.
And he walked him off the outside edge again, and that's going to reload the bases.
Kohler, after hitting Miggy, now he walks Nick Castellanos. Fastball that's off the outer part of the plate.
Now Juan Yebas, the pitching coach, is coming out. By the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day. So here is Upton now with the bases full, still nobody out. Justin last night was 0 for 4, but that last at bat, he hit a ball extremely hard at third base. And Prado made a leaping catch on.
Tigers made the most of one inning in yesterday's game. That was the 5th inning, and here they have a chance to maybe have a huge first inning.
Well, that was the 25th pitch thrown by Kohler. And he still has not retired anybody in this inning.
It's pretty much what managers dread.
Right back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Cabrera scores. They'll get 1 run in as Martinez goes to third. And Upton has an RBI, 3-0.
This ball's coming right back at Victor Martinez at second base, so he has to freeze. More than likely he's not going to score on a base hit up the middle anyway, and he does the right thing by just going back to the bag. You can see Miggy slowly jogging in from third base. Castellanos about ready to kiss Victor Martinez at second base, but he's got nowhere to go but to second. So one base at a time right here, and Steven Moya comes up with a chance.
2 RBIs for Martinez, 1 for Upton, and Moya swings and misses 0-1. Steven back in the lineup. He injured his knee diving for a ball against Cleveland, the first game of that Cleveland series. Batting .322. 3 home runs this year at the major league level. And a ball outside, 1-1.
I was talking about Don Mattingly, the manager, in a situation where his starter hasn't recorded an out yet. We're at the number 7 hitter in Steven Moya. Bases loaded, 3 runs already in, a great hitting offense in the Tigers, and nobody in the bullpen warming up because he needs them to eat up some innings. But you don't want this game to get out of hand before you know it.
Yeah, Kohler just has not been able to locate anything. He's thrown more balls than strikes.
Definitely struggling with his command, and when he does throw it over, the Tigers have figured out a way to put the ball in play.
There you go. Ratio not good at all for Kohler. 2-1 is swung on and missed. Kohler today, by the way, is celebrating a birthday, his 30th birthday, but so far probably not having fun at this party. He is already up to 30 pitches. Moya fouls it off on a check swing. Saltalamacchia waiting on deck. Steven's been a different hitter since coming back up from the minor leagues this year. He's had a couple of cups of coffee in the major leagues, but he made that adjustment to his batting stance. Seems to be much more of a confident player at the major league level.
Definitely has an open stance at the plate.
That'll miss low, and now it's 3-2.
Hitting 500 over, or almost 500 over his last 5 games.
Now he's got a 3-2 count. Kohler has no choice but to come in here with the bases loaded. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. First out of the inning.
It's almost not fair for a hitter. Guy's been struggling. He throws a 3-2 changeup, I think. Ball, or it's a curveball, excuse me. He's got that spike curveball. You can see his finger on top of the ball as he spins it, and he throws it in a good spot to record the first out.
Here is Saltalamacchia. Salte getting the start today. McCann started last night. Way outside, 1-0.
You can see Kohler just flying open with his lower body. His shoulders opening up too quick. He's not staying compact and delivering his energy towards the catcher's glove. Thus, lack of command.
And Don Mattingly now has no choice but to get the bullpen working. There's a strike called, 1-1. Dustin McGowan, who came into the ball game last night, starting to heat up.
Well, McGowan typically is not a long man in the pen. He threw an inning in last night's game. Struck out a couple Tiger hitters.
Sometimes you don't appreciate what the long man could bring to your bullpen, but on a day like today, if they have to go to the pen early, those guys become really valuable.
Well, somebody has to somehow figure a way to eat up a few innings, 3, 4, 5 innings, to give everybody else a break, because it'll the effect of the next games really can be harmful.
That ball hammered to left center field. Ball hit well. Osuna's on the run. He'll get to the warning track. It'll drive in a run. A long fly ball from Saltalamacchia makes it a 4-0 Tigers lead.
Well, he got the job done. You got to hit the ball somewhere in the outfield, get another run across the plate. Victor Martinez easily scoring from third base on that RBI fly out.
Here's Iglesias now with 2 outs. 4 runs on 4 Tigers hits in this inning. The Tigers hit 3 home runs in the ballgame last night, but perhaps Iglesias' home run was the biggest because the Tigers could do nothing against Conley until Jose's homer in the 5th.
It really was Conley's first bad pitch of the game. He was dealing, and he left a ball right over the middle of the plate. Look at that last night in the 5th inning, right down Broadway, and Iglesias, what a nice swing. He knew it right away.
3rd home run of the year.
Is Adam Conley?
That'll get foul. 0-2. The count stays on Iglesias. Well, not only do you not want to reach the 30 plateau in pitches thrown, but now Koehler's reached 40 in this inning.
Well, and even at 40, Mattingly's just hoping that he can get through this inning and maybe eat up 4 innings. That would help that bullpen tremendously.
Oh, he thought he had strike 3 as Koehler was heading back to the dugout.
See the ball just off the plate.
Pulled toward left, but foul. Iglesias got out in front. .337 in the month of June for Iglesias. His bat is perked up. Outside, 2-2. Jose this year has only 3 home runs, but 1 came against Max Scherzer in that 20 strikeout game. How about that?
Yeah.
And then he hit 1 against Chris Sale in Chicago. 2 of the premier pitchers in the American League, or in baseball, I should say. Max over in the National League. The foul back at the screen. And then the home run against Conley, who was pitching extremely well last night.
It's got to give you
occasional power.
Yeah, it's got to give you confidence, though, then knowing that you can square up a ball off of one of the best pitchers in the game. You know, it makes you feel like there's nobody I can't hit. I just have to track the ball.
And a ball outside, man. And now Koehler's gone 3-2. Well, what a nightmarish inning for the birthday boy.
Take a look at that last pitch. And I don't know. I don't even know if I would want that one. I mean, maybe a seam caught that very corner. I guess I'd want it. I threw it towards the plate. I'd want it.
He's thrown 45 of them. He wants that pitch. Here comes number 46. Popped up. Right side of the infield. Johnson and Dietrich, the second baseman Dietrich, to finally end the inning. The Tigers bat around and score 4. Go to the top of the second here at the ballpark. Mr. Tiger taking this one in today. Now Kaline enjoying a very quick start for the home team, 4-0 in favor of Detroit. Daniel Norris, a nice little cushion to work with early in this one. Chris Johnson leads it off. Norris gave up 2 singles but struck out the side in the first inning. That one is going to get into the seats quickly. 0-2.
Johnson playing first base, replacing Justin Bohr. Bohr had a hit in yesterday's game, so he plays against the harder throwing left-handers for Don Mattingly at first base,
of which Norris qualifies. 1-2 the count. Bohr is the guy that has a lot of power, but Johnson getting the call today. High fly ball right field. Moya backing up. One gone. Hey, school is out and summer is here. It's time for your child to join the Detroit Tigers Kids Club. Members receive a Miguel Cabrera backpack, hat, and discounted tickets for every Sunday home game. And a whole lot more. Visit tigers.com/kids club to order. Derek Dietrich batting left-handed, looks at a ball inside.
Another one of the young hitters here for the Marlins that having a good start to their summer. Dietrich hitting over 300. He's been the second baseman with D. Gordon out.
Gordon, of course, was suspended 80 games in April for PEDs and is scheduled to come back in July at some point, but he cannot play in postseason play if they are eligible. Jack, this really hurts their offense.
Well, you know, Gordon had the great year last year, but maybe people understand why, and they caught him, and it's going to cost this ball club. Norris not exactly doing what he wants to do here with a 4-run lead. He walks Dietrich.
Now Adeiny Echeverria. We saw last night that this Marlins team, especially the way they're playing right now, can string together some hits. And seemingly we're doing it all night last night.
Echeverria had 3 hits, 3 base hits in yesterday's game, scored a couple of the runs.
That's in there, strike one.
Norris came out and I really like the fact that he wasn't afraid. He gave up a couple hits in the first inning, but he struck out the side because he was aggressive within the zone. And he had to sit there for a long inning. Tigers went through the whole lineup. But he's got to come back out there and pound the strike zone. He's got 4 runs to work with here. We'll involve his outfield, involve his infielders right here. Maybe get a ground ball double play, get them boys back in the dugout.
And especially facing the bottom of the lineup here in the second. Here's the 0-2. 1-2 on Echeverria. He's hit safely now in 8 consecutive interleague games. One ball, 2 strikes. Echeverria was acquired in the Blue Jays a couple of years back. Remember that big deal that involved Mark Burley, Jose Reyes. And Echeverria has kind of settled in nicely now with the Marlins in their shortstop position. Good defender, as Jack said, 3 hits in the ball game last night. And he'll drill this one toward the gap in left center field. That's going to get down. It's going to go all the way to the wall. This will get a run in. Dietrich rounding third. He will score. Echeverria goes to third base with a triple to drive in a run.
Cameron Maben was playing a fairly shallow center field, and that ball went to the gap, and once it got by him, you knew that he had a long way to run to get to the ball. Echeverria runs extremely well, but Dietrich able to score from first base. You see this ball right here. Once it gets by Maben, he's got a long way to run. It's probably the deepest part of the ballpark, and Dietrich easily scores from first base. put the Marlins on the board.
Echeverria now has 4 triples. There's a ball high to Jeff Mathis. The Indians had the 4 triples in one game against the Tigers. Seen a lot of 3-baggers in this homestand. Mathis looks at a strike. So he's trying to get a run in here with the infield back and less than 2 outs.
You talk about that trade with Miami that the Blue Jays made. They gave up a lot of people in a couple years that are now stars in the game to really build a team with Mark Buehrle and Jose Reyes. They got R.A. Dickey. You know, they were all in, and at the cost of a lot of young great players.
And it was a mix that really didn't work all that well.
No, it's funny how it all ends up, but those are not the players that are really a factor for the Blue Jays right now. We're only talking a few years ago.
Right. 1-2 on Jeff Mathis, the light hitting catcher for the Marlins. Missed inside. 2-2.
Noah Syndergaard was one of those guys that they gave up.
What an arm. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ichiro waiting on deck. Down low. Now the count fills 3-2.
Of course, Tiger fans should know that Daniel Norris was acquired when David Price went last year to the Blue Jays.
Norris, one of the prime pieces the Tigers acquired last year, along with Fulmer. And strike 3 called on Mathis, who thought he had a walk. Adrian Johnson says you're out, and Mathis is arguing as he walks back to the bench.
We'll take a look at it and see if we're going to agree with one of the 2 guys. Mr. Foxtrax agrees with home plate umpire Adrian Johnson, and I do too.
Mr. Foxtrax is seldom wrong.
Well, the truth is, Mr. Foxtrax is only over the front part of the plate. And the plate is not exactly just a straight plane in the front part. So a catcher could catch the ball on the back part of the plate, but it would appear to Mr. Foxtrax that it's off the plate.
Yeah, none of that matters.
In other words, there's more strikes than Mr. Foxtrax even wants to give credit for.
Do not doubt the abilities of Mr. Foxtrax. Rule 1. He gets angry.
Hey, if he's considered in the umpire category, you can always doubt their ability.
Good point. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ichiro. He backs out and takes a strike. 1-2. Ichiro didn't like that one. 16th season now in the major leagues. We mentioned he's 42 years of age. He is trying to get to 3,000 major league hits. 2-2. 4-1 ball game. The Marlins answer with an RBI triple from Echeverria. Little looper back a short, gonna drop in, base hit.
The magic wand right there, and it was just a big at bat, not only for Ichiro but for Daniel Norris. You know, that's the 2nd run of the game. Now they're halfway back into this. Not a bad pitch down, but he left it too much over the plate, and I mean, that's classic Ichiro Suzuki right there. He's swinging, making contact. His feet start moving right after contact. And he picks up another hit closer to 3,000.
2,987. 13 shy. There's a ball low to Martin Prado.
I've been asked several times since becoming an analyst, how would I have pitched Ichiro? And I'll be honest, he's one guy that I'm even puzzled at, because I've seen him pitch or cover the plate in all quadrants, up and away, up and in, down and away, down and in.
There's the bouncing ball, base hit to left. Ichiro will take second base. Yeah, his plate coverage is as good as anybody's in the game.
Well, he doesn't give you any indication of what he's trying to do either. He's not a guy that dives. You know, he pulls off a lot of pitches. Well, that doesn't really give you anything as a pitcher, other than, you know, if he's really pulling off, you want to stay away from him. But Prado doing his part, picking up his second hit. Rich Doobie out there to try to settle down Daniel Norris.
Meanwhile, I know this is a cliche in baseball, but the old shutdown inning, you hope you get it, and Daniel just not be able to get it right now.
Well, it's so important, but it's a game of momentum, and you don't want to open a door. Sometimes early in a game you say, well, you know, and the other fear is your offense doesn't want to shut down either. They got to get back in there and they got to score again. You don't want them to do what they did last night, where they only had the one inning where they put runners on the board.
Here is Yelich batting with 2 on 2 out. Talk about how good of a hitter Yelich is as a young kid still in this game. He is batting .292 against left-handed pitching this year. So that doesn't seem to bother him. He's got Ichiro and Prado aboard. Marlins already had 5 hits in this one. That's in there, a strike called, 1-1.
Well, 2 things going for your point, Mario, is that not only did the Tigers score 4 runs, but it was a tough inning, tough start for Tom Kohler, and now he's had a long inning to sit there and kind of regroup.
Yeah, the absolute best thing would have been a quick 1-2-3 inning to get Kohler right back out there.
Absolutely, because he had thrown almost a 50-pitch inning.
Meanwhile, this is turning into a 30-pitch inning for Daniel Norris. In there, a strike call. 2-2. Lefties down in Toledo. We're batting just .220 against Norris this year. Trying to get a dangerous left-handed hitter here. Swing and a miss. He'll do just that. A strikeout of Yelich, and the Marlins settled for 2. Now it is 4-2 as Ian Kinsler leads it off. It brings us to the Bernstein advantage. Pitcher batter matchup for Kinsler and Kohler. 7 for 16. Actually, this is against the Marlins. 7 for 16, and he had a big series early in the year in Miami and has continued that in this 2-game set. Tigers swept that little mini 2-game series to start the season down in Miami. There's a check swing missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ian got it started with a base hit in the first.
That had to be a little different for you, Mario, Tigers, to open up the season from Florida and go south.
That's yeah, that was the whole joke during spring training. We're not breaking camp and going north. We're going south. But it was strange that we opened up the National League ballpark.
Yeah.
And then, well, it's going to be equally as strange to close the year in National League ballpark. Tigers will close out in Atlanta this year, a 2-game series there. I believe a 2-game. 2-1 is hammered down the left field line. Fair ball. It'll go to the corner. This will be extra bases for Kinsler, and he will pull in with a double.
Great start of this ball game for Ian Kinsler. Started with a single and a run scored. Now this at bat. You can see that ball was in their inner half, about belt high. Pulls his hands in and barrels it up down the left field line. So a triple and a home run away from the cycle. 2 innings, 2 at bats, 2 hits.
I like his pace.
Yeah, he might have 9 at bats.
He had 9 hits. A 9-for-9 day in the offing for Ian Kinsler. That series, by the way, at the end of the year is a 3-gamer against Atlanta, not a 2-gamer. Tigers start on the road in the National League. They will end on the road in the National League. Now Maben, also a single and a run scored, and ball 1 is outside from Kohler.
Kohler just, I bet he's wondering, how do I pitch out of the windup?
He hadn't done it much today.
No. Kinsler started the game with a base hit, and immediately the next 8 hitters he had to throw out of the stretch. Same thing happening here again.
1 ball, 1 strike on Maben. Well, Kohler came in pitching some of his best baseball of the season. He was 3-1 in the month of June, an ERA of 3.30. Tigers, though, planted a 4 spot on him in the first inning.
You know, we mentioned that he had pitched 6 innings in his last 5 straight starts, and it's going to be a work of art there if he can pitch 6 innings in this one. You look at his last 10 starts, pretty good ERA.
Here's the 1-2. Kohler pitched his college ball at Stony Brook University in New York, a Division I school in New York State. In fact, their ballpark there was, or is, named after Joe Nathan, who donated some money, the former Tigers closer, to build them a new surface, new ballpark. 1-2. Well, Kohler in that first inning threw 46 pitches.
You know, I gotta be sarcastic, Jack, and just comment on your last comment about naming a stadium after somebody and then ask them for money to pay for it. It's like, what are you trying to do here?
Well, the money came first and then they named it after him.
So
in other words, Nathan
Joe was being charitable and helped them.
Cut the check.
And in contrast, they said, well, let's name it after you. But I know of players who have been contacted to have stadiums and ballparks, especially at the youth level,
sure,
named after them, but will you please pay for it? And I don't get it.
What don't you get?
Well, you don't have to name. I mean, if you need money, I understand.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But, you know, don't do it backwards.
There's also Curtis Granderson Field in at the University of Illinois Chicago. Curtis went to school. And a little pop-up, and it's going to be run down by Chris Johnson.
Look at this.
Kinsler going to third, and he's in there diving safely.
That's just heads-up base running right there. He realizes that Johnson has to run away from second base and the infield, and he's got to do it with a vengeance. Kinsler immediately tags up, and this could be a bang-bang play, but he's got to take a perfect throw from first baseman Chris Johnson over to a third base Prado, and Kinsler, that was just heads-up base running right there.
Great hustle, and now he could score without the benefit of a hit. Only one out. Cabrera hit by a pitch in his first at bat. There's a strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Right-handers came in batting just .218 against Kohler, but that number jumped significantly in the first inning. In on his hands, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Time now for the home field advantage, brought to you by Lowe's. And when you look at some of the best batting averages at home since 2012, Miggy's right there.
3 of the 5 guys on that list all play for the Colorado Rockies, and I guess it's fair to say not only are they good hitters, but they're playing in one of the best hitting ballparks in all of baseball out in Colorado.
Infield coming in now with 2 strikes on Cabrera. And did he go? Did not. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I can't imagine, especially early in the day when the Rockies just joined Major League Baseball, if you were drafted by the Rockies as a pitcher, you probably wanted to run the other way.
I played my college ball at about the same elevation in Provo, Utah.
That's right.
And trust me, I wasn't aware. There you go.
Oh, goodness, a rocket up the middle, and Kohler goes tumbling to the ground. It's an RBI single for Cabrera.
Nothing fancy other than just squaring the ball up the middle. Watch Kohler on the mound. Ball gets by him. He's just ducking, the old chuck and duck. And Kinsler, by having great base running right there, easily just jogs into home.
Tigers get 1 back. It's a 5-2 ball game. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. That is 6 Tigers hits in this game. Vmart fouls it straight back. 0-1.
Interesting, nobody up in the bullpen now. So another tough start to an inning for Kohler, and yet Don Mattingly figures, well, throw another 50 pitches. You know, get to your 100 whenever you want.
We'd prefer it to be 6 or 7 innings, but that's not going to happen.
Not going to make 6 today, I don't think.
0-2 on Victor. Well, Kohler threw 46 in that first inning, and I know was frustrated on a couple of calls that he didn't get from Adrian Johnson, but as they always say in baseball, if you're not around the plate, you're unlikely to get those close calls. Oh, 0-2 on Martinez, who singled in 2 in the first inning. Strike called, got him looking. So Martinez is out. The second strikeout for Kohler.
No argument from Victor. This is a fastball that started off the plate, but it ran back in on the inside corner. And Victor did not argue. You can see how he thought maybe it was going to stay in, but it did not.
Here's Castellanos. Nick had a walk in the first inning. Cabrera has singled in a run. The Tigers up 5-2, trying to sweep the season series between these two clubs. Swing and a miss. It's a Marlins team that is trying to get back to the postseason for the first time in a long time. Last appearance was 2003 in the postseason.
I don't think too many people really expect them, or especially coming into this season with the Mets and the Nationals being so strong, that they would be in the hunt for their division. But Don Mattingly did, and I think this is a team that's going in the right direction. You can see some of the great young talent on this team.
We saw a kid last night, the Ellington kid, throwing upper 90s out of their bullpen. That's ripped just foul down the left field line. 1-2 on Castellanos.
Jim Wolf, the third base umpire, just has to get out of the way and look right down. And you can't ask for a more clear view of where that ball landed than at your feet.
Bouncing ball left side and through, a base hit. Castellanos on base for the second time, and another hit against Kohler. That is the 7th Tigers hit in this game. And Juan Nieves comes running out again.
Yeah, not only has Kohler had a tough go early in this game with his command, but when he does make some pitches, he's had some tough luck. Balls finding their way through. As soon as Prado is just an excellent third baseman. Normally he would get to that ball, but he's even frustrated that he didn't.
Saturday baseball night in America returns with a showdown between the Angels and the Red Sox, 7 p.m. Eastern on your local Fox station. And the Yankees battle the Padres at 9:30 p.m. Eastern in a game you can see on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Here's Justin Upton. Ball 1 to Upton. RBI single in the first inning for Justin, which now gives him 22 RBIs this month. He had just 3 the entire month of May. And slowly but surely the numbers now for Upton are reaching the levels where many expected they would be at some point.
Those involved with the ability to get Justin Upton wearing a Tiger uniform knew that he was a streaky hitter, that he would have his good week or two and tough week or two. And I don't know if any of them expected how slowly it was going to start in a Tiger uniform for Upton.
Yeah, and it turned into a slow 2 months to start the year, but you know that always gets magnified at the beginning of the season as well. But he certainly was struggling, a lot of strikeouts, but now has returned to being the run producer they expected. And that ball is lined to right field sharply, but caught by Giancarlo Stanton. Tigers get another run, and we go to the third. They lead 5-2 here against the Marlins. Ian Kinsler having a good day so far. Single double, 2 runs scored. And not to mention a really good base running play as well.
Yeah, he created a scoring opportunity which plated the 5th run for Detroit.
Miguel Cabrera on base a couple of times, RBI single as well. So Daniel Norris back to work now. It'll be Marcell Ozuna who swings on the first and fouls it away. Ozuna struck out in a big spot in the first inning. They had 2 men on with 1 out. He took it looking, and then Stanton was called out on strikes as well. Norris able to pitch out of a jam in the first. Daniel back home, fires a strike, and the count is 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Daniel made his Tigers debut last year in Baltimore, allowing just 1 run in 7 1/3. Jack, you and I did the game he pitched in Chicago when he homered in his first major league at bat. Off John Lester.
I don't know if it might take me 10 years to stop talking smack if I hit my first home run in the first at bat.
Yeah, I could see that too. Definitely see that. Here's the 2-2 outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
He's got a 3-run lead now to work with. He had a 4-run lead, gave a couple back. Tigers put 1 on the board in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Now he's got 3 more to work with. He just needs to get that leadoff guy out. That'll do it.
He has done just that. One gone, and Menards brings you the big money encounter. And here are the most home runs through 773 career games from some notable hitters. And look at Stanton, man.
I mean, those are big numbers over some of the game's best early in their career. Look at Miggy, who everybody knows what a great hitter is. He's got him by 50.
Wow. Massive power. He struck out looking in the first inning, though. Stanton fouls it down the first base line out of play. 0-2 on Giancarlo.
Got the most talked about contract in the game so far.
Baldo. Stanton is a 3-time All-Star, was 2nd in the MVP voting back in 2014 behind Clayton Kershaw that year. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Stanton.
I always think about if baseball did not allow movement within free agency, those kind of things, and everybody who had to play their whole career in one city. Right now they would have Miguel Cabrera and Stanton in the same lineup. I thought about my days here in Detroit. It would have been Mark Fidrych, maybe, had he stayed healthy, and John Smoltz eventually became, you know, a Hall of Famer.
Right.
And Fidrych and Smoltz and Morris, Petrie all would have had a chance to pitch together. That would have been a lot of fun.
That'd have been fairly good. High drive to right field. Moya coming over. Stephen hauls it in, and there are 2 outs. Game break time. Here's Matt Shepard.
The first baseman, Chris Johnson.
Yeah, it really is, Shep, and it's a good point. That Tampa Bay team is the next team the Tigers will face, the first one on the road trip, but they've been struggling, and all of a sudden you face David Price and you put it on him.
It's crazy. Game. It's crazy because Boston was just tearing up the baseball offensively.
That's down the line, a base hit. Maybe more. He's going to take the turn and hold up. Upton got it back in there. 2-out single for Johnson.
And now Boston is really struggling with their starting pitching. David Price has had a few outings where he's struggled. So it is a humbling game.
Stephen Wright, a knuckleballer, has been their best pitcher from top to bottom, and that can be a little concerning because of the fact that knuckleballers are somewhat inconsistent, or can be. Here's Derek Dietrich. Strike one on Dietrich. Cleveland won again last night. They've won 11 straight, remain 7.5 up on the Tigers. They will slow down. They have to at some point. Baseball history tells us that. Doesn't it? Please?
Well, sure. November, it's over.
No, I'm thinking a lot sooner than that.
Differently?
Yes. I know Brad is thinking a lot differently as well.
I promise they won't win every single game the rest of the year.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that.
I'll put that in Vegas.
Here's the 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Norris, meanwhile, has a chance to get out of an inning fairly quickly. Gave up the hit there to Johnson, but 2 quick outs now with Dietrich at the plate, who walked his first time up.
Got him. Strike 3 in the outside corner. 7 strikeouts now for Norris, matching a career high. July 15th, they'll face the Royals at 7:10 p.m. Fans are invited to stay after the game. You know why? Because of a fabulous fireworks spectacular. If you'd like tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Nothing beats the fireworks here at the old ball yard. 5-2, Tigers have the lead. As we stagger to the bottom of the third in this game, Moya, Saltalamacchia, and Iglesias standing in against Kohler, who's still out there. First one home is in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Moya struck out in the first inning, one of just 2 punch outs for Tom Kohler. Ball 2 low.
It's got to be puzzling sometimes for a hitting coach, Wally Joyner in particular, to work with a guy that's this big and he's got so many parts moving at the same time. Moya's got a a little bit unorthodox stance now that he's got an open stance. His right foot right on the line of the batter's box.
Driven toward right field. Ball hit pretty good. Wrong part of the ballpark, though. Out to the warning track and in front of the wall. Stanton hauls it in. Well, you can just see the ability. You can see the physical skills, can't you, Chad?
Oh, he's so strong, too. That was just a real easy swing. The ball went almost 370 feet.
Here's Saul Tulamacchia. Sac fly to drive in a run in his only at bat. Shifting on the infield to the right side against Kohler. He'll hit it to the left side, but foul. Salty got off to that great start. There's the shift that they play against him. There's a ball that missed inside. Had the big home run against the Marlins early in the year. And hit a grand slam against the Pirates in Pittsburgh. He hit 7 home runs within the first 2 months of the season. And really kind of helped carry the team until James McCann got back from the ankle sprain. That's ripped to center field. That'll get down a base hit. One out single. It'll bring up Iglesias.
Tigers have had base runners in every inning so far.
Jose popped up in his first at bat. Strike one right at the knees. '81st pitch for Kohler, and we're only in the third here this afternoon. Now the 0-1. No balls and 2 strikes on Iglesias.
Iglesias will spray the ball all over the infield, outfield, so they play him pretty much straight away. As soon as shaded to the right field side a little bit, but that sometimes is more to get out of the way so he can see around the umpire.
Oh, 0-2 on Jose. Little chopper slowly toward third base. Prado throws him out. Runner will advance on the play. 2 gone. And here's Kinsler now, who needs to keep up that 1 hit per inning pace here.
Well, he's got a chance to hit here in the third.
His third at bat of the game, and it's only the 3rd inning. A double and a single for Kinsler.
If everything follows suit, this should be a triple for Ian. Single in the first, double in the second.
After he triples here and then homers in the 4th, then what?
Start all over.
Oh, okay.
He told me he's going to get 9 hits and 9 at bats.
I merely suggested it could happen. I don't think I said it would happen. Based on the pace he was on. There's a ball outside. 1-0 on Kinsler. Well, regardless, it's been a renaissance for Ian. It's been a career type start for him offensively. That'll miss high. 2 balls and no strikes. Leads the club now with 93 hits. So Kinsler certainly, if he stays healthy and plays every day, will get to 100 runs scored this year.
All wonderful numbers, really. He's on a pace to hit 200 hits. I mean, that's in my world, that's crazy. That's really good.
Outside 3-0.
And he's durable. That's another thing about Ian Kinsler. He plays almost every game.
Cameron Maybin waiting on deck. He took a hack on 3-0 and fouled it out of play. Kinsler had the double in the 7-run 5th inning in last night's ball game. 2 more hits today. That's how to play. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers with a victory today would go to 2 over the 500 mark. At 40-38 heading out to the road. It'll be an 11-game trip coming up leading up to the All-Star break. And as you said last night, Jack, just start winning series.
Well, this is one that in order to win the series you have to sweep it because it's a 2-game series, and they're on their way to do that here today.
Driven toward right field, straight at Stanton, and that'll end the inning. No runs to hit, 1 man left, 3 in the books.
Inning, Tigers up 5-2. Daniel Norris has really had a pretty good go of it so far. He's given up a couple runs, but 7 strikeouts through 3 innings against a very good hitting, right-handed hitting lineup. Throwing a variety of sliders and fastballs, and his strikeout count a career high already, and we're only through 3. That's the line so far for Daniel Norris.
Well, here he goes to work now against Echeverria as we go to the 4th inning today. The pitch count has been elevated for Norris as well. Of course, a lot of that has to do with the 7 strikeouts. But in his start against Seattle, as he throws a strike, he threw 79 pitches in 5 innings. And he'll get to that point here in the 4th.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with guys that strike out a lot of hitters. You're throwing a lot of pitches typically. You're going to have some 3-2 counts. You're going to have, you have to throw at least 3 pitches to get a strikeout. So he's got 1 walk to go with those 7 strikeouts.
He's still working though at a very brisk pace.
Well, and that's what you like about Daniel Norris. He gets the ball, gets the sign, and he's not afraid to challenge the hitter, go after him. Keeps the defense sharp. It's a bright day here, sun-soaked day.
Here's the 2-2, and he got him. Strike three. Another punch out for Norris.
He's doing a good job of moving the ball in and out. That one was a fastball in that locked up Echeverria. Let's see, just hit the glove and goes away, throws a slider in, and then locks him up with a fastball on the inner half.
8 strikeouts today, career high. Ball one up to Jeff Mathis. Tigers got 4 in the first. They added 1 in the second. The Marlins got their 2 in the second. And Mathis sends a high chop left side. Iglesias will have no play. Infield hit for Mathis.
You just can't plant your foot quick enough to get anything on a throw right there. A lot of guys are learning the new throw it and bounce it off the turf, bounce it off the grass, one hop it over to the first baseman, but you still have to get enough on the throw. And Iglesias' momentum was going real hard to his right, just not able to get his feet underneath him to make that throw.
Here's Ichiro, who knocked in a run with a single in his last at bat, and he takes the ball high. Ichiro came into this game loving this ballpark. 341 career here at Comerica Park. Much of that damage, of course, with the Seattle Mariners. Strike call. Ichiro broke in 2001 when he came over from Japan. In spring training that year, many wondered what kind of player he would be at the major league level. Many doubted him. But by the end of spring training, they saw this guy could do a lot of different things. And he went on to make 10 consecutive All-Star games and win 10 consecutive Gold Gloves.
Only his former teammate in New York, Alex Rodriguez, has got more hits on the active leader list.
Little chopper to the right side. Kinsler will fire to second. They get one there, and that's it. Ichiro reaching on the fielder's choice. 2 outs now for Prado. Pretty good day for Prado. A couple of singles, which I guess has followed his blueprint. He has been much better on the road this year, over 400 on the road.
It's kind of the opposite of Cameron Maben, who we talked about is hitting extremely well here at Comerica, but a tougher time on the road.
Ground ball second base side. Kinsler has that one as well. Prado is out, and so are the Marlins here in the fourth. It's been a pretty good day for Daniel Norris. 8 strikeouts in this ball game, and he is enjoying a 5-2 lead. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. You get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Chevrolet, more than you expect for less than you imagine. Stunningly spectacular day for baseball here in the Motor City. 5-2 is our score. Tigers have the lead in this one, trying to take the 2-game set. The win last night, hopefully a win today. And we have a wall-side windows pitching change. That'll be it for the starter, Kohler. He will give way to Dustin McGowan.
Yeah, McGowan, he pitched an inning in yesterday's game, recorded a couple strikeouts. He's been used in both middle and long relief. Kind of a longer stretch here today. They've got to try to bridge the gap for the bullpen today. He's going to down Mattingly, and Juan Nieves is going to have to piece it together with the bullpen.
So McGowan goes to work. Cameron Maben leads it off, and he takes ball 1 up and in. McGowan's had all kinds of shoulder problems, torn labrum, rotator cuff surgery. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That'll get back out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. McGowan broke in with the Blue Jays in 2005. A couple of years later, he actually won 12 games and looked pretty good in their rotation. Then the injuries hit. Fly ball right field, slicing away from Stanton. To the corner it goes, and it's going to drop foul.
McGowan's always had a very strong, powerful throwing arm. He's been clocked in the high 90s all the way up to 99 in the past. Got a pretty decent breaking ball. But command has been his issue also. Guy can throw hard, but doesn't always throw it where he wants to.
The 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. McGowan, born in Savannah, Georgia. Maben swings and misses. He struck him out, 1 gone. Here is Miguel Cabrera. Miggy with a single to drive in a run. He's also been hit by a pitch and scored a run. That is fouled back out of play, 0-1. Gowan brought that last one in 97 miles an hour. It's amazing how when Cabrera steps up there, he gained a mile an hour or 2. It seems to happen often. One ball, 1 strike.
I mentioned to you about what I would have done against Ichiro. Here's another hitter that I've seen enough of to know that there's no pattern. There's no easy way that you can consistently go to a well and get Miguel Cabrera out.
How important is it to pitch him inside? And the reason I say that is we talked about this last night. The Indians did a really good job of that in the 3-game series.
Well, and they have power arms, and you have to. I mean, I've preached it over and over to anybody who wants to listen about the importance of throwing inside. I know that baseball has created a generation here where down and away is the way to go. Well, I don't agree with it. I never have agreed with it. I think I've said it many times, the best pitch is a fastball underneath the hands on the inside corner. But with that, you also have to move their feet occasionally and make them uncomfortable, because then you're going to get that pitch away, and you're going to get away with a few mistakes, and you need that as a pitcher. You're going to make some mistakes right in the zone. But if you don't pitch in and don't move their feet occasionally, they can just take a hack.
3-2 now on Cabrera. What is the philosophy behind down and away that has been taught for so many years?
It's harder to hit home runs. They thought it was always harder to pull the ball to hit home runs down and away. But then there's guys like JT Martinez and there's guys like Nick Castellanos that are showing the baseball world that down and away is in their sweet spot. They can hit it. Look at that.
Whoa, that was in Miggy's sweet spot. Way back, and that ball is gone. A rocket off the bat of Miguel Cabrera. Man, he vaporized that thing.
Well, he might have wanted to maybe move his feet or throw inside. And even though he started off with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, when you don't make a guy a little bit uncomfortable, all he's doing is timing you. And he's tracking the ball. That one, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, but pretty much dead center of the plate. That man's just too strong and too good to leave it there.
Homer number 18 for the mighty Miguel Cabrera. Pretty good hit speed as well.
There's people that really dig that kind of stuff right there. I don't know what the heck it really means.
The hit speed?
Yeah, hit speed. Yeah. I'd rather see bat speed. I'd like to have somebody clock a guy and tell me how fast that bat's going through the zone, because
it tells
that
you
would
more.
It would be a better indication of what potentially he could do.
Work on that, Jack. That's a great idea.
I know a couple guys. One kid named Austin might be able to figure that one out.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, grounded back up the middle into center. It's going to be a two-hit day for Victor Martinez. They are greeting Mr. McGowan rudely.
Tigers have had a pretty good series offensively. It started out rough there the first 3 innings in yesterday's game against Adam Conley, but since then they've done a pretty good job of being patient, getting hittable pitches. More importantly than anything else, good hitting is always about guys getting a good pitch and not missing it. That's what the best hitters do.
Here's Castellanos. Tigers now have 10 hits in this game. They had 9 in last night's ball game. Nick a single and a walk. Here's McGowan's 0-1. Middle of that Tigers lineup doing some damage today. Cabrera, Martinez, Castellanos. Did he go? Yep, says Ramon de Jesus. Daniel Norris being supported today. 6 runs, 10 hits for the Tigers. Here's the 1-2. Man, that thing bounced 3 or 4 feet in front of the plate and to the right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mathis went down there to get it.
Jeff Mathis shifting to his right, using his hands more than his body. You want to see him make sure he blocks that. If it gets by, it hits his chest, keeps it in front.
Swing and a miss. Castellanos is out of there. 2 gone. We check in now with Trevor Thompson with a preview of what's coming up on the Tigers' next road trip. Trev?
Well, Mario, it's an 11-game trip in 11 days, and you talked about it leading into the All-Star break. Mark Lowe told me that was one of the saving graces. That's what he's looking forward to mentally. That is it for him, how he's adjusting to this trip. Looking forward to the fact that when it's over, it's time for the All-Star break. He also told me that some guys down in the pen were talking about, do you pack the night before? Do you pack the morning of? He packed the night before so he could just roll roll out of the house to the ballpark today and get on board with the rest of this trip.
Nice. Of course, that road trip as well, Jack, is going to contain 2 4-game series, and those are even harder.
They are. It's a grind. That's going to be a tough trip. You know, Tampa hasn't played well. They're in last place in the American League East. But that doesn't mean on any given day, if you take them for granted, they won't show you why you shouldn't. So it's a mentally and physically demanding road trip.
And one that could define how the Tigers may be standing here at the midway point. If they can go into the All-Star break and keep their heads above water on this coming road trip, that certainly would bode well for the start of the second half. It's always an intriguing time, because if you come out of the All-Star break playing poorly, all of a sudden some teams may be viewed as sellers instead of buyers.
And it happened in the past with Detroit. Dave Dombrowski has decided as early as the midway point to buy or sell.
Here's the 1-1. Ground ball to second, sharply hit, but right at Dietrich. They'll flip to get the force and retire the side. Tigers get another run on the Miggy long ball. Now leads 6-2, and 10 hits for the Tigers in this game. The home run by Miguel Cabrera is extending the lead for Detroit. Daniel Norris goes back to the hill as we go to the 5th inning, and it'll be the middle of the lineup coming up. Christian Yelich will lead things off.
Brad Ausmus out in left field checking on, it was either Upton or Maben, one of the two guys. He had the trainer out with him. Both players remain in the game, so everything must be okay.
Yelich looks at a strike, 0-1. Yelich 1 out of 2, had a single in the first inning. Drilled to center field. That's going to drop, base hit.
2 more hits off a left-hander. Kid's pretty impressive.
Really is.
He's in there so well off the breaking ball.
Yeah, last year in the second half he hit over 340, and he's pretty much continued that this year.
You can see he picks up his leg, and yet he keeps his shoulder in there. And he doesn't give it away, his upper body. Here we take a look from the side swing. Head still, barrel of the bat meets the ball out in front of the plate. It's pretty much picture perfect.
Marcell Osuna's had a tough day so far. A couple of strikeouts against Norris. 1 in the first, 1 in the third. There is activity in the Detroit bullpen.
Right-hander Alex Wilson. Norris's pitch count approaching 100.
What a play by Kinsler there. Osuna 1 step out of the box will tote his bat back to the bench.
Zine is going after this ball. He's aware that he might have a play at first base, but when he lands, he decides there's no play at all because his momentum is going away from first base. But that helped, maybe saved runners at first and third for Daniel Norris.
Stanton is 0 for 2, strikeout, flyout. That's in the air to shallow center field. Maben coming in, and Stanton is out, 2 away.
Here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. Daniel Norris's fastball been clocked at 95. Those usually have been balls up in the zone. He's been pulling off a little bit and overthrowing, but low is breaking ball, taking a little off his slider. He's starting to have quicker, better innings. 8 strikeouts already. We're in the top half of the 5th inning.
Missed it outside. 1 ball, no strikes on Chris Johnson. Fly out single for Johnson in this game.
Norris, when he throws over to first base, a lot of times will just kind of lob it over there, and sometimes that's not a good thing. You want to have a little bit more of a firm throw there.
How often did you work on your pickoff move?
Probably not enough.
I mean, when would you work on it? In bullpen sessions?
No, you really don't work on it. I mean, you do it in spring training occasionally, but the best time to work on it is when you have base runners, and you know it's all about timing. You just want to try to catch them in between strides sometimes. But the great base runners, they read you so well. It's such a gift to be left-handed and to have a pickoff move. Right-handers, you have to move your feet. You got to throw the ball over. It's a lot more difficult for right-handers to have a good pickoff move. If you don't like base runners, don't let them on. That's my theory. And I worry more about them at third base than I did at first base. They're only 90 feet away at third. Now, Lance Parrish and every one of my catchers would yell at me about that attitude, but you got to be able to shut it down when they're close.
So I would assume that in your day, probably Ricky Henderson, the toughest guy to hold on?
Ricky, if I gave up a base hit or a leadoff walk or anything to Ricky,
it was over.
It was third base.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't just happy with stealing second. He was going to, and I wasn't very good. I admit, at least first half of my career, I wasn't very good at all of holding runners on because I wasn't worried about them. And then I just realized I got to give my catchers a chance.
Ball hit deep to right field. Muya backing up. He's going to go to the warning track, and Steve hauls it in, and that is that. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. 10 p.m. Brandon Inge will participate in a pregame Q&A session, part of the season-long celebration of the 10th anniversary of the 06 AL champs. Visit Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER for more information. We've had Maya, we've had Polanco, we're going to have Inge reliving the 2006 Detroit Tigers. Pudge Rodriguez was here as well, but that was a national broadcast day. We didn't get a chance to catch up with Pudge. Steven Moya leads it off. Moya, Saltalamacchia, and Iglesias facing Dustin McGowan. A little bit low on Moya. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, Daniel Norris today. Pretty good outing.
Yeah, the pitch count will probably dictate that his day is over, but he's got to be pretty happy with it. Gives up a couple runs, strikes out 8 over 5 innings of work.
And again, it was an offense that he came in facing today, which was loaded with right-handed hitters and really was having a pretty good stretch. And Daniel was able to minimize the damage. He threw 100 pitches. Moya fouls it back out of play.
Having a talk with pitching coach Rick Doobie right there.
Wilson was throwing in the last half inning, but he has since taken a seat. Here's the 2-2, and it's hammered to right field, way back, and that ball is gone. It's a line drive home run for Steven Moya. His 4th of the year.
We were talking about Steven Moya, his last at bat, and the raw power he has. This ball was off his shoe tops, and he barreled it up nicely. Watch this pitch and the location, down and in, just throwing the head of the bat at the ball, and it got out of here in a hurry.
(7-2) Tigers. And we're starting to see that massive power that Moya showcased in the minor leagues starting to manifest itself at the major league level. That is the 11th Tigers hit of the afternoon. Ball high to Saltalamacchia. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moya's 4th, his 7th RBI of the year. Two and one. Here's the Chevy Silverado most dependable play. Talking about the Tigers interleague home runs, now 26 this season. More than any team in the major leagues. Two on Saltalamacchia, a single and a sac fly in this game. That ball is belted to right field. It's going to go to the track, to the wall, and it's going to carry out. Back-to-back homers from the bottom of the Tigers lineup. Well, they are teeing off now.
3rd home run off Dustin McGowan since he's come into the game. This one almost sounded like he got jammed a little bit. Almost like he had broke his bat, or at least got in on the handle of his bat. But Saltalamacchia throws his bat head at the ball, and it does carry over Giancarlo Stanton's head into the stands in right field.
8-2 ball game. Saltalamacchia hits one out. That'll be his 8th of the year, but it's the first in quite a while. May 12th was the last time as Salty homered. Tigers up by 6 runs now. Iglesias looks at a ball inside. 3 homers on the afternoon. Curly fries tomorrow for the Motor City. It's back-to-back games. Now the 1-1. Rip toward left field. That ball is going to get down foul. Ooh, nice catch.
Don't reach over the foul line to catch the ball there, bat boy.
It's a sweet play.
You know, from our angle, it looked a lot closer than it was. He's well off the line, but pretty talented kid holding the chair, saving himself from having to run all the way around the warning track out there to retrieve the ball.
He was checking himself out on the big board as well. They showed a replay of it here at the ballpark. Why not? The players do it. The ball is nubbed foul. 1-2 on Iglesias. Homers today for Miguel Cabrera, Steven Moya, and Jared Saltalamacchia. Low ball 2. There's still nobody out here in the 5th.
Nobody up and throwing in the Miami Marlin bullpen. Again, Don Mattingly trying to stretch out McGowan here. Threw an inning yesterday. He's in his 2nd inning here today.
It'll pop up. Who wants it? Tough play for the catcher, and Mathis makes a basket catch for the out. 1 gone. Here's Ian Kinsler. Single, double, 2 runs scored for Kinsler. Tigers with a win today will have won 6 of 9 on the homestand before they hit the road. It'll drop in for a strike. 0-1. Oh, 2 on Ian. Tigers got 4 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, and 2 in the 5th. They have continued to pour it on. They now have 12 hits in this game, and the good thing is, after some early runs, they've gotten a few tack-on runs as well. Here's the 0-2. McGowan had to come out in this game in the 4th inning after the starter Kohler threw 90 pitches, and he lasted only 3 innings. He had a really long first, a 46 pitch 1st inning, which set the tone for this game.
It certainly did. The Tigers were able to put 4 on the board. Nobody even recorded. He didn't even record an out until the 7th hitter, Steven Moya, in the 1st inning.
Two and 2.
But again, the Tigers with 3 home runs in this ball game. Whole pile of hits, and that's why the pace of this one's been a little slow.
A little.
I'm just trying to keep you cheered up. You could move along quickly.
The 2-2 fouled off. They got more action in the bullpen, do the Marlins. Whitgren, who actually did pitch in last night's game.
He gave up the home run to Nick Castellanos in yesterday's game.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. You got Kinsler to chase. Where's Mathis going? Mathis is going to the dugout, and there's only 2 outs.
Oh boy.
One of those days.
Too much sunshine, I think.
I mean, he got almost all the way to the dugout before he realized it.
Yeah, what happens when he does this is watch McGowan too. He sees his catcher going off and he's going, well, he actually didn't. Now he's looking at him like, yo, it's only 2 outs, dude. How do you argue balls and strikes with an umpire from this point on?
You can't.
Can't remember outs.
Here's a ball outside to Cameron Maybin. Maybin had a single and scored a run on his first at bat. Bouncing ball to short. That'll be routine there for Echeverria. That'll end the inning. Now you can walk off Mathis. Tigers, couple more homers. Moya deep into the seats in right. And Saltalamacchia goes. One side windows pitching change. Alex Wilson will come on for Daniel Norris.
'30th game for Alex, and he's going to try to maybe pitch an inning or two here. Brad Osma's going to piece it together as this game goes into the latter half of the ball game.
Check in with Trevor Thompson. Now, we've talked about the fact that the great players don't always make great coaches and managers. Trev, you got a little bit more on a couple of guys that were really good players for the Marlins and their coaching staff now.
Well, certainly Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly, their manager, was a tremendous player, 300 career average, American League MVP, and Barry Bonds, maybe the greatest player of all time, arguably. How do they translate that into coaching as we see a single rip to right? Moya will pick it up and bring it back into the infield. But we talked with these guys about the Marlins players about how these guys are transferring or relaying that information to these players and whether they're able to relate or not. Wally Joyner told me, a very good player in his own right in his day, that it all comes down to communication and how you can find a way to communicate effectively with different players, understanding their skill sets and what they bring to the game. Is very interesting conversation. So far this year, the Marlins players are telling me Mattingly and Bonds are doing an excellent job of doing that. Jack, you're a tremendous player. I don't know if you've done any coaching, but what are your thoughts on that and how great players can work with players of this day and age?
Well, you look at the history of the game, and the odds are pretty much against the great players becoming great coaches or managers, especially managers. We've had, Ted Williams and Frank Robinson. Paul Molitor right now is in the big leagues. There's just been a bunch of guys that are Hall of Fame players that not necessarily have had the greatest managerial careers. But talking to Paul Molitor,
who I'm very familiar with, about the challenges that he has. He says, I don't want to try to teach anybody to be like me. I want them to be themselves, but I want them to respect and understand the game and the little things that they can do to improve on a daily basis. And I know Donnie Mattingly's got the same attitude. I've talked to him about that. And I think there's got to be some disconnect from a great player once he becomes a coach to understand the generational gap and how they can relate, like Wally Joyner just said. We've got to get to them in their level.
Echeverria, the batter here, with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. And it chops slowly toward third, foul. There's also a school of thought, Jack, that a lot of times great players, the game came so easy to them that it's hard for them to maybe deal with players that weren't as talented as they, or are as talented as they were.
Well, and I think that's all part of the adjustment and disconnect that a manager or coach has to go through. Not everybody. Brian Sandberg was another manager that did,
good one.
And again, managers, it's all about the players and the talent pool that they have to work with.
Looked like he went. Yes, sir, he did.
And Jack, I'm wondering too, how much of that comes down to work ethic? Great players don't get there by accident. They work really hard, and some players don't have that same kind of work ethic. You can't put it in some guys? Is that part of the problem as well?
I think good point, Trev, and I think that's one of the most frustrating thing for any great player that sees a guy that's not really busting his tail to try to get better. I think that's probably what drives managers crazy the most is guys that they know that have the talent but are not willing to put in the work. And really, work is not necessarily all physical. It can be mental, to understand, to be a student of the game, to realize what hitters and pitchers are trying to do against you. Those are all things you have to pay attention to.
Jeff Mathis, the batter here, as he takes the ball low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Just in baseball as well, you look at hockey, Wayne Gretzky, a great player, didn't really translate when he was a coach. Magic Johnson, his coaching career really never took off. Hall of Fame player and one of the best ever in the game of basketball. So that's transferable to every sport. They have the same issues.
Most recently, George Brett tried his go with being a hitting coach for the Royals. And when he got done, only after a little over a month, he said, look, I can't teach you how to hit. He says, I know how to hit. I went up there, I saw the ball, I whacked it. He said, you got to be, Mr. Hosmer, you have to be Mr. Moustakas. You've got to be whoever you are. Go up there and become a name that everybody understands. And George really was frustrated with the aspect of trying to coach guys because he couldn't translate what he knew in his own brain into their brain.
And that's what Wally was talking with me about, finding a way to do that and communicate effectively to guys and finding a way that they can understand, or you can best illustrate to them so that they can pick up that information and implement it into their own game.
In the case of George Brett as well, Jack, it was much more comfortable in the air-conditioned press box, too.
He's got a pretty good gig right now.
He absolutely does. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Mathis.
Dayton Moore's got a nice suite. Doesn't have to get sweaty down there.
Down goes Mathis via the strikeout. Thank you, Trev. We appreciate it, but it really is great conversation, especially when you're talking about guys like Mattingly and Bonds. I mean, these guys were elite players in their day. And when you wear the different hat, the hat of a teacher, it can be a little bit different.
Try to get this in quickly. I talked to Donnie a couple weeks ago, and I asked him, at what point did you decide that you wanted to continue on after your career was over and get into coaching and managing? And he says, it was right at the end. When I was still playing, I realized the impact that some coaches had on me, and I watched them. I was studying more as a veteran player, how coaches worked and intermingled with players. And he said, that's when I was intrigued by the whole concept. And he was lucky enough to have a great career and then be in a position where he was offered jobs.
0-2 the count on Ichiro. The action in the bullpen for the Marlins is Whitgren, the right-hander.
Yep. Threw in yesterday's game.
8-2. The Tigers have the lead here in the 6th inning. 2 outs and a man aboard for Ichiro, who's singled in a run back in the 2nd.
We're seeing a different thing happening in the game of baseball too. Former players that do not have to pay their dues in the minor leagues as a coach or a manager. They're coming right from big leagues. Brad Ausmus, Paul Molitor, you know, obviously guys that have knowledge, and I think the people that hire them understand that they have the ability to work with the players of this generation, but not having to put in a lot of time in the minor leagues to earn that job. They're already qualified.
Slice toward left field. Upton coming over. And that'll take care of the Marlins here in the 6th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. I know Texas has 51 wins as well, so 2 really hot ball clubs. By the way, Tigers fans, tomorrow night the Tigers take on the Rays. Coverage begins with Tigers Live at 6 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Detroit. And don't forget, if you can't be by your TV, there's no better way to catch the game than to live stream us on your Fox Sports Go app. Rays will be the next opponent.
New pitcher now for Miami is Nick Whitgren, who pitched in yesterday's game. His 16th game that he has appeared in.
First one is lined and caught on a leap by Echeverria. He ended up on his back. How in the world did he catch that ball?
Pretty impressive vertical right there. Either that or he deceived the heck out of both of us. But watch the reaction. Gets up, full extension. Maybe it was the fact that he did not land on his feet. Looked like he was up 28 feet in the air.
Yeah, that might have been it, but it's still a great play.
Hung on the rim too long.
No technical, though. That'll be the first time that they have retired Cabrera in this game, and that should have been a base hit. Great leaping play. Strike called on Victor Martinez. Victor is 2 out of 3. A couple of RBIs. Although the Rays find themselves in last place in the American League East, they shut out David Price today at home. They had lost 9 of 10. The Rays.
Well, it could be a very challenging road trip for the Tigers. Like you said, it's not only 4 games in 2 different cities, but They've got to go back through Cleveland, that they haven't won a game there, and then that great offense up in Toronto to end a road trip. It's different maybe facing those guys at the beginning of a long road trip, but it'll be a trying road trip, and really maybe give Tiger fans an indication of where this team's headed pre-All-Star break.
Well, the schedule, as we have learned over the years, spares nobody. I mean, everybody is going to go through some rough stretches in their schedule. The Tigers certainly will have one now heading into the All-Star break. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Victor now with 42 RBIs. After singling in 2 in the first inning, Single did not score in the 4th. Castellanos on deck. Swing and a miss. And Victor down on strikes. 2 gone. Time now for T-Mobile's greater coverage of baseball. We're talking about it. Might as well get more in depth on those Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, they're in the last place, but they just had a pretty good game against one of the game's best, Evan Longoria. He's having a heck of a year. The Minnesota Twins literally lit him up, got him red hot. Oswaldo Arcia going from the Twins after being basically let go, and he's having a good start to his new home, new uniform in Tampa.
The Tigers are going to see Chris Archer in the last game of that series. I don't know that it's possible, but he's 4-11 this year.
Just not numbers we're accustomed to seeing from him, but it just shows that you can never take this game for granted, and that every game you earn your stripes.
Flared toward right field, slicing, foul, just foul. Archer 11 losses, an ERA of 4.76, but we know on any given night he certainly can toss a gem. He's very talented. Be a good test for the Tigers in Tampa. One ball, 1 strike on Castellanos. Nick Whitgren, native of Torrance, California. Here's the 1-1. More action in the bullpen now for the Marlins.
Left-hander Jojo Reyes.
They had to go to their bullpen early today. Their starter Kohler gave him just 3 innings. Two and two on Nick Castellanos. Outside, fill it now, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers have 12 hits this afternoon. Kinsler has a single and a double. Cabrera homer and a single. Victor 2 hits. Homers as well for Moya and Saltalamacchia. Three, 2, the count stays on Nick Castellanos. 2 outs, nobody on in the 6th. And again, the 3-2. Swing and a foul tip into the glove for strike 3, and a 1-2-3 inning for Whitgren. Let's go to the 7th. we begin the celebration of the farewell season at the Joe. Join us Saturday, September 10th for the first ever Hockeytown 5K at Joe Louis Arena. For more information and to register, visit DetroitRedWings.com/Hockeytown5K. One more year of the Joe. And then, of course, the Red Wings will move into their brand new digs right across the street here from Comerica Park. Martin Prado will go to work here in the 7th inning. 8-2 is our score. It's a strike called. Every time we walk into the ballpark this summer, it's fun to see the progress on Little Caesars Arena. Yeah, and it's even more fun to know that maybe Woodward one of these days, one of these years will be finished. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Woodward is a little bit tattered right now. I think they started that project when the Tigers had their parade in '84. No, they didn't. No? Oh, okay. It was more recent than that. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's low. 2 balls and 1 strike. 8 runs on 12 hits for the Tigers. Marlins 2 runs, 9 hits. Prado, Yelich, and Ozuna here in the 7th inning. This is the 2nd inning of work for Alex Wilson. Grounder back up the middle and into center field. A leadoff single for Prado. That one, quite a good day. 3rd hit for the right-handed hitter. It'll bring up Yelich. And now the Marlins with an even 10 hits. Yelich 2 hits in 3 at-bats against the lefty Norris. I told you Yelich came in batting .292 against lefties. He'll face the right-hander Wilson, who delivers a strike. 0-1. Yelich not only a very good hitter, but also won a Gold Glove a couple of years ago in 2014. Big rip there. No balls, 2 strikes. Tigers got 4 early in this game in the very first inning. 2-run single by Martinez. Upton knocked one in. Saltalamacchia knocked one in, and they have not trailed today. As Kyle Ryan begins to warm. One and 2. It really hasn't been easy for any pitcher in this ball game so far. It's a warm, bright, sunny day, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I know for whatever reason, psychologically, these are the kind of days that I had a hard time with focus and just feeling alive out there. I always felt a little tired, a little fatigued on these sunny, warm days. It's not overly hot today. I mean, we're blessed with a gorgeous day here at Comerica. Yeah, I mean, it was 73 degrees at game time. It's 76 right now, so it's not perfect. Like it's not like it's hot or humid. But it seems like all the pitchers have labored with their command. Not a lot of clean innings. Whitgren just had a 1-2-3 inning. That was the first one of this ball game. Swing and a miss. So Yelich is out of there. 1 gone. You think it is something psychological, though, about day games? It was for me, because my record indicated that the numbers were very similar to night games, but you know, there was something about the invigorating aspect of getting your rest and kind of preparing your entire day and getting to the ballpark and maybe pitching under the lights. I don't know what it was about night games, but I always felt better mentally than I did in day games. Line drive to right. That's going to be a base hit. Osuna is aboard with a single. 2 on now with 1 out here in the 7th. That'll bring up Giancarlo Stanton.
Well, Tigers have done a pretty good job today against Stanton. He got a couple hits in yesterday's game, a base hit and that 2-run home run back in the second inning. But since then, they've handled him pretty well.
Stanton now has that guard that comes across from the side of his helmet with a right-hander on the mound. He didn't wear it against lefty Norris. And he looks at a ball low. We were talking in his last at bat about that contract he signed, 13-year deal, which has him signed through 2027. Good work if you can get it, huh?
God bless America.
13-year deal.
Well, there's so much upside, and they figured why not keep him in Miami? And there's ways that both parties can get out of the contract down the road. But you know, Stanton was a part of those teams that they put together, and then all of a sudden guys like Mark Burley, who came from the White Sox, and you know, they were gone. Jose Reyes, they were gone, and you know, it didn't really set well with Stanton. His agent and him decided, you know what, I don't want to see that happen again here. What can we do?
Ground ball to third. Castellanos backs up, fires to second. One dropped there by Kinsler, but they still record the out. No chance at a double play once he bobbled it.
Well, it's in the transfer here. That's why the umpire calls. You can see it's clearly in his glove, and then upon transferring the ball, he bobbles it. So the runner at second base is out, and Prado goes over to third base.
Here's Chris Johnson. There goes the bat. 0-1 on Johnson. Wilson came out in the 6th, gave up a single, but struck out 2 batters, and has given up 2 singles here in the 7th. Tigers pitching today has 11 strikeouts. There's a base hit to right. That'll get a run in. RBI hit for Johnson to make it an 8-3 ball game.
Again, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus here, but those are the little things in the game. You can never assume a double play, so you know, Ian Kinsler isn't charged with anything there, but he had a clear chance to get Stanton at first base and double him up, and now one pitch later, or a couple pitches later, it's a RBI single.
Kyle Ryan coming in as the Tigers go to the bullpen. We'll be back. The bullpen for the Tigers.
27th game now for Kyle Ryan. A very good ERA, and he's in there right now to get out this left-hander, Derek Dietrich.
Marlins have scored a run on the RBI single by Johnson. Dietrich got a single. That was back in the 6th inning. He is 1 for 2. He's also walked and scored. One ball and no strikes on Derek Dietrich. The 26 RBIs he has this year is a career high. Here's the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. A couple of lefties warming up now for the Marlins.
Yeah, it's Dunn and JoJo Reyes both heating up in the pen for Miami. Tigers got Bruce Rondon throwing over there on their side. There's Bruce.
One of the things the Tigers wanted Kyle Ryan to do is improve against left-handed batters, and earlier this year he was in the mid 300s. The average now has gone down to 289. Lefties batting off Ryan. There's the strike call, 2-2.
It's always been a little bit of a red flag in baseball for a guy not to be able to get out the hitter on his throwing hand side.
Here's the 2-2 on the way, and it's low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan trying to get the lefty here. Echeverria waiting on deck. Marlins trying to crawl back in this game. They have 12 hits, each team with 12 hits. Runners going, it's fouled back out of play, so they'll start it all over again.
So 24 hits so far in this game, and we wonder why it's a little bit slow paced.
Wonder no farther, or no longer. The Marlins had 16 hits last night, and the Tigers used a big inning, the 7-run fifth, to take command of that game. They've given up 12 more hits today, but they lead 8-3. Swing and a miss. Dietrich is out of there, and Ryan gets it done. They'll settle for 1 run. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. Go to the bottom of the 7th inning here at the ballpark today. Tigers fans, don't forget to fill out your 2016 Esurance Major League Baseball All-Star Game ballot now at Tigers.com on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Vote up to 35 times. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote at Tigers.com/vote. New pitcher now, JoJo Reyes coming in for the Marlins.
Yeah, he's been used a little bit by Miami. 23rd game, and he'll try to continue this, bridging the gap, because the starter just had a tough go.
He was called up from AAA New Orleans yesterday. JoJo Reyes last year pitching with the Angels briefly. And so Reyes now will face Justin Upton as we get things started here in the bottom of the 7th. Upton, Moya, Saltalamacchia. And Justin looks at ball 1 outside. Upton is 1 for 3 today. RBI single back in the 1st. One ball and 1 strike. Reyes broke into the big leagues with Atlanta. He spent 4 seasons there, then went to Toronto. He had a stop in Baltimore. Ground ball to short. Echeverria to his left, bobbles, and his throw is still in time for the out.
That's crazy. Upton was running down the line, and he looked at Echeverria as he bobbled the ball, and yet he didn't seem to pick up any speed. It was kind of a unique look. Echeverria's got a very strong arm. He didn't panic. He picked the ball up and threw a strike over there.
I didn't think he had any shot.
No, I didn't either.
Steven Moya looks at a strike. Moya homered again, a solo shot in the 5th inning, now 4 on the season for Moya. He had missed a couple of games with a sore knee. They're playing him deep to the grass in short right field. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers still trying to buy some time until JD Martinez returns. One and 2. Moya had the 35 home runs at AA a couple of years ago. I don't care what league you're playing in, 35 homers is a lot of homers.
It is, and you know, for every unfortunate incident for one player, it creates an opportunity for another player, and Moya's going to have another go at it here at the big league level, and you know, it's up to him to impress the right people here in the dugout to stay in that lineup and remain here at the big league level.
Foul away, 2-2. The count stays on Moya. Steven had 13 homers in the minor leagues this year, so with 4 at the big league level, 17 already for Moya. That's pulled in the air toward right field, not deep. Stanton comes in to make the play. 2 up, 2 down against JoJo Reyes here in the 7th. And Saltalamacchia stands in.
They had Stanton playing perfect for that particular swing. He's well off the line in right field, and just had to come in a few steps to catch that. Salty will now shift around and bat right-handed off the left-hander Reyes.
Home run back in the 5th inning was his first since mid-May, and he yanks that one foul. Seven of his 8 home runs this year coming from the left side, but he's got himself An extra base hit from the right side. Motoring to second with a 2-out double. Saltalamacchia with a 3-hit game. Good to see that. His bat's starting to perk up.
Well, from both sides of the plate, too. You can see this is a ball down and in. Salty kept his head still, went down after it, hooked it into the left field corner. Yelich picks the ball up, takes a look, and realizes there's no way I'm going to get him at second, and then takes his time getting it back into the infield.
Tigers now have 13 hits.
Just the one inning, and that was the inning that Whitgren threw. Did they get the Tigers out 1, 2, 3?
Every other inning has had at least one base runner.
Yeah, you put the pressure on the other team offensively and make them grind.
Reyes, the third man out of the bullpen they've used today. Here's a ball low, 2-0 on Iglesias.
Mario, have you been counting?
Yes, I have.
What pitch is this?
That was number 300 for the game.
Oh boy.
Is that a lot?
I'm pretty sure.
You had to take your shoes off to count that high.
You know, starters don't go that deep anymore.
2-1 on Iglesias. On a line to left field. It's going to be caught there by Yelich, and that'll be it for the Tigers. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire.
Big play of the game, bottom half of the 6th inning. Adeiny Hechavarria picks the rebound off the top of the rim, goes way up and robs Miguel Cabrera. That was just an outstanding play, great concentration, and what vertical leap he showed right there.
Sparkling play, and he'll lead things off here in the 8th inning. Tigers also have a defensive change.
Mike Aviles will take over for Steven Moya out in right field.
And now Echeverria leads it off, followed by Mathis and Ichiro against the lefty Kyle Ryan. Echeverria knocked in a run with a triple in the 2nd. After the Tigers led 4-0, the closest that they would be able to get was 4-2, and they got a couple of runs in the 2nd. Here's the 0-1 from Ryan. On a line to center field, Maben moves over. Echeverria is out. One gone here in the 8th. Now the catcher, Jeff Mathis. Singled but did not score back in the fourth. 1 for 3. He's also punched out a couple of times. Tigers pitching today has racked up 12 strikeouts. In there, strike 0-1.
Tigers defensively playing straight away. Shortstop, second base, back on the grass.
In the air toward left, hit pretty good. Upton going back though, has room on the warning track. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th.
Justin Upton playing fairly deep there in left field. I think that's where they have positioned him since putting on a Tiger uniform, and easily getting back to that one.
That'll bring up Ichiro.
So 2 quick outs for Kyle Ryan. See if he can record the first 1, 2, 3 inning against the Marlins.
Yeah, for as much as the Tigers have dominated this game in the runs column, they lead 8-3. The Marlins do have 12 hits. Last night of the ball game, the Marlins stranded 12. Today they have left 10 men on base. Opportunities aplenty. One ball, 2 strikes on Ichiro. Suzuki had a single to not get a run in the second, which was hit number 2,987 in his career. And there's another one into center field. So he's getting closer and closer to 3,000.
Doesn't matter, right-hander, left-hander. It just, you know, he's got the great ability to track the ball. He sees the ball coming out of the hand of the pitcher. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to put the barrel on it as well as he has. 12 hits away from that crazy number. That's Hall of Fame number, guaranteed.
At some point, your eyesight has to start failing you a little bit. And for him at 42,
he's not wearing glasses.
He's not. And he's still seeing it quite well. So each ball club now with 13 hits as Martin Prado stands in. He's had a good day, 3 hits. Ball high to Prado.
He's got to be related to Victor Martinez. Man, they look like brothers.
The 1-0 is a strike called. I guess I never even noticed that.
Maybe a little bit younger Victor, but I think there's some similarities.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. There is a little bit. They're both 300 hitters. You might be onto something here. The 1-1 sails inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
What's my prize?
We'll let you finish the game.
A quick game?
Well, that was out the chute about an hour ago. Ryan ready with the 2-1. Slapped out of play. 2-2 on Martin Prado. Rondon has been loosening up.
Well, he'll pitch the 9th, not a save situation, so Francisco Rodriguez will not be coming in this game unless something terrible happens.
To shallow center field. Maben coming out. It's going to drop. That's going to make it a 4-hit game for Prado. All singles. First and third now with 2 away.
Maben did not react well to that ball off the bat, off the swing. He hesitated, and I don't know as though there was any play at all for Ian Kinsler, but his first step was back a little bit and then finally came on. It landed in that perfect zone where it's going to be hard to get. You've got to react immediately if you're an outfielder to get to those kind of balls.
Well, you got the middle of the lineup coming up now. Here is Yelich, who struck out in the 7th. Strike one on Yelich. So the Marlins now have actually out-hit the Tigers 14-13. Oh, 2.
Quickly getting ahead of him. Kyle Ryan now looking for that put-away pitch.
Ryan got the final out of the 7th. Has given up a couple of hits here in the 8th.
You talk about how they wanted Kyle to be better at getting out left-handed hitters. He struck out Dietrich to end the 7th.
That'll go foul.
Yelich has already recorded 2 strikeouts in this game.
Tigers have gone through some lefties. Of course, Justin Wilson remains the lefty late in games for the Tigers. They've used Blaine Hardy. They've used Kyle Ryan. Ryan getting another opportunity. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Tiger pitching has struck out 13 today.
Call Sam call of the game. Back in the 2nd inning, Ian Kinsler leads off the inning with a double down the left field line, and then Maben flips the bat over there. Chris Johnson not really paying attention, and great base running right there by Ian Kinsler. Gets himself into scoring position. Miguel Cabrera lines the ball up the middle, and he scores because of good hustle and heads-up base running.
And the Tigers batting in the bottom of the 8th, leading it 8-3. And for the Tigers, top of the order now, Ian Kinsler. A couple of hits in the ball game today. Single double, 2 runs scored. There's a strike call, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jojo Reyes back out there. He threw the 7th inning, gave up a double, but no damage. Now the 2-1. High ball 3. Cam Maben waiting on deck. The 3-1 pitch is rolled toward third foul. Pretty good gathering today. 31,760 on a gorgeous afternoon with 73 degrees at game time.
Yeah, I hope they brought their sunscreen because it's been one of those days. Gorgeous day here in Detroit.
And there's a walk. Ball 4. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary this afternoon. A lot going on today. Daniel Norris, very important part of today's game, set a career high with 8 strikeouts.
Well, he'll be the pitcher of record if the Tigers can hang on to this right there. Good to see him doing it. Of course, the boys have been banging home runs. 3 more for the Tigers here today. And too many base runners left on for Don Mattingly's team.
Yeah, that pretty much has been the story for them. I mean, they've had plenty of opportunities the last 2 days, but just have not been able to cash in on enough of them.
And left 10 on base in yesterday's game.
Maben is 1 for 3. He went around. 1-2 on Cameron. And he missed low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McGowan came out of the bullpen today with Grin, and then Reyes after the starter. Kohler lasted only 3 innings. Line to left field. That's going to get down and go to the corner. Kinsler coming to third base. They're going to wave him home. Here comes Ian to the plate. He will score standing up, double, and an RBI for Cameron Maben.
Good solid hit into the corner, and another good job of base running for Ian Kinsler there. He could have kind of just held up there and forced Dave Clark, third base coach, to hold him at third base, but he was running around second base with every intention of getting an RBI for his teammate, Cameron Maben.
16th RBI of the year for Maben. Now Cabrera. Each team now 14 hits. Ball 1 to Miggy as Mathis able to smother it.
Talking about Miami leaving too many runners on base. Every inning of this game they've left at least 1 runner on base.
$12 for the ball game. Here's the 1-0. 1-1 on Cabrera. It's a funny, Jack, because a lot of times when you get these day games, guys might be a little bit tired heading toward the All-Star break. Warm afternoon, and there hadn't been an error committed in this game by either side. These are the types of games, especially the long, drawn-out games, where you might have a miscue or two. Here's a base hit to right field. Here comes Maben rounding third. They'll send him home, and he's safe. Cabrera with an RBI single. His 3rd RBI of the day.
There's been a whole lot of base running in this one. See the pitch location, fastball away, a little bit off the plate, but great extension from Miguel Cabrera. About belt high fastball, and just shoots it the other way, not trying to pull the ball, not trying to do too much, goes with the pitch. And with the good base running by Cameron Maben, he picks up another RBI.
It'll bring up Martinez. Victor looks at a ball high. Couple of hits, couple of RBIs for Victor Martinez.
Anibal Sanchez throwing now. Maybe they're going to let him get an inning of work in.
Tigers have 15 hits today. The most hits they've had in a game this year is 18. That was back in April at Minnesota. They are 3 shy of their season high in that column. Line drive caught by Echeverria. First out of the inning. It'll bring up Castellanos. So we'll get a pinch runner as well as Andrew Romine comes trotting off the bench, and he will pinch run for Miguel Cabrera.
Now the Tigers certainly have had their hitting shoes on in this one. The only Tiger not having a hit in this game is shortstop Jose Iglesias. Everybody else has been in the hit parade.
Oh, and 1 on Castellanos. Single and a walk for Nick in the ball game today. Ten to 3. Tigers have a 7-run lead. Soft line drive caught, and Romine scampers back to the bag. Dietrich goes up there to get it. 2 gone. It'll bring up Justin Upton.
Just kind of curious, Mario, if you infinite wisdom and knowledge that you possess in this game.
Infinite.
You know how in youth baseball they have the mercy rule, the 10-run rule, where a team gets up by 10, game's over.
Right.
How many times would you guess in the history of this game has a team ever come back from 10 runs to win a game?
Well, I'm sure it's happened a lot in the history of the game. That's
a lot
by Echeverria. Well, we're talking about 100 years.
I'm talking about 10 runs behind.
We'll pick this up when we come back. 10 to 3 Tigers. Really struggling at last place in the National League Central Division. Could be a long summer in Cincy. Here, the Tigers have a 10-3 lead as we go to the 9th inning. Here's the new pitcher, Sanchez.
Tiger fans haven't really seen him out of the bullpen all that often, but he's had a tough go as a starter this year, so he's going to get some work out of the pen here and try to have a quick inning to end this game. It's been all Detroit here today.
Romine will stay in the game and play first base. Marcell Osuna is going to lead it off here in the 9th inning. It'll be Osuna, Stanton, and Johnson. Sanchez works it home, and the first one is lined to left field right at Upton. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That's being efficient.
Your thought-provoking question before the break was, how many times has a team come back from 10 runs?
From 10 runs.
My point is that if the game's been played over 100 years, I'll bet it's happened a lot.
It's got to. I'm not going to argue that it's happened.
Okay.
A lot is the question.
Unlikely, though.
In 100 years, a lot would be at least 100 times.
Probably.
So you're saying it's been more than 100 times?
Yeah, I'll bet it is.
Okay.
And it's going to be caught by the shortstop, Iglesias. 2 up and 2 down. Here's Crowd with post-game preview.
Well, guys, 15 hits, Curly fries. Daniel Norris gets a win. So much to talk about in the post-game edition of Tigers Live coming up as soon as the final out is made here at the ballpark. The Red Wings, the Tigers are headed out on a big road trip. We're going to talk a whole lot about that, too, inside the clubhouse. That and a whole lot more coming your way on Tigers Live right here after the game, so stay tuned. Back up to you guys.
All right, Trev, thanks. One more out to get, and there's a ball low. 1-0 the count. Chris Johnson a single to drive in a run in the 7th. Two balls and no strikes. 10 runs, 15 hits for the Tigers. Marlins 3 runs, 14 hits. Sanchez trying to put this one on ice. Here's the 2-0. In the air towards center field. Should do it. Maybe it is under it. And the Tigers will sweep the season series against the Marlins, winning 2 there and now 2 here. Final score this afternoon, a convincing win for the Tigers. They beat the Marlins 10-3.